Hi guys, and welcome back to Chip's Green World. Spring has arrived and we're back in the town garden. This will be a short update video just to let you know how things are doing and how things have coped through the cold winter period. Also an update on all the upcoming projects, mainly focusing on the top section of the town garden, where I finally decided on a design that should bring this space to life, also bringing the space together and complementing the lower section of the garden. So we'll talk more about that in this episode. We'll also be talking about the disaster that is the pond, well, one of the ponds. I'll explain more about that in this episode too. The japonica has not settled in as well as I had hoped, so we will be moving the japonica, and I found her the perfect home. The box seemed to have got through winter beautifully, as well as the grasses. The chocolate chip not so good, we'll talk more about that coming up. But before we do that, let's have a quick look at how our winter looked in the town garden. And a quick glimpse of Gypsy Boy doing a bit of work in the snow. He gets to have all the fun. And there we go. Gypsy Boy knocking all the snow off my Topra balls to save them from damage. Right, let's get into this episode as there's lots to talk about. And the best place to start is my Topra trees, the home oaks. They've done extremely well. That's what Gypsy Boy was shaking earlier. The 3 trees to get the snow and ice off them. They thickened up beautiful after their trim, and they're looking very healthy indeed. So at least that's some good news for the town garden. I have temporarily put in place 2 uplights to light them up at night. I haven't hid the wires yet. I will do that once I start work on the top section of the garden and get them all tucked in and hid away. But they're working superbly, and at night time they light the trees up and look absolutely beautiful. Now on to the box balls. They're all looking superb, got through winter fine, but there's a problem. One of the local tomcats has decided to use them as his personal toilet, so that needs to be addressed immediately. So what I'm going to do is the slate that I took up from the bottom section of the garden that I bagged up and put in the potting shed, I'm going to reuse here and put a thick layer down surrounding all of the box bowls. So hopefully that will solve that problem. Right, now let's move on to the 2 ponds, and we'll also be talking about Miss Japonica, which neither have done very well. So let's first get into Miss Japonica. I did think when planting Miss Japonica here that she'd be quite happy, but unfortunately not. She's getting sunburned. 2 months of the year when the sun's at its highest, she's getting far too much sun. Doesn't like it whatsoever. So she has to move. She settled in beautifully, but unfortunately not the right spot for her. So she's got to move up to the top section of the garden, which only gets sun early morning, and then for the rest of the day she'll be in the shade. She'll be a much happier japonica, and the fern under her will probably appreciate it too. So that's that plan. So then we'll have to find something else to replace japonica. So that's a shopping trip on the cards, and I have to keep in mind that it has to be structurally beautiful to reflect in the pools. Well, that brings us to the pools, and upsy daisy, a complete disaster. Well, one of them anyway. So what's happened? These bowls are hollow, therefore they have a void between the outer layer and the inner layer. And what's happened with the larger one is it had a little leak on the inner layer, so the void had filled with water. And then when we got -11 temperatures, the water froze and burst the whole bowl open. Complete nightmare. So these are going, and they will be replaced. I did find this lovely stone one I thought might do, but I think it's just too high. So I've gone back to my original idea of having a long thin pond that will stretch the full length, and I'm getting one commission made. So that should arrive in 4 to 5 weeks time. So that's something to look forward to. So therefore all of this will be changing. Not good, but these things happen. And as these ponds were in the sale, they were only £63 for the pair, so it's not a big loss. And although they did look beautiful, I think my new design will be so much more superior. So on to some good news. The Californian lilac hedge is full of flower buds. There's still a few spots that need to fill in, but it's looking quite beautiful. Right, now on to another disaster. The chocolate chip we planted under the home oaks next to the ferns. I can barely spot them. It could have been the very cold winter we had. Not sure, it could be too dry. We're going to have to see how these do. I'll keep my fingers crossed for these, but we might need to try something different. I knew it was going to be difficult planting under trees. It's going to be very dry here, so we'll have to see how these do. Keep our fingers crossed. On a good note, the grasses are looking lovely as ever. And I might even plant a few other grasses behind them of different colour. So that's an idea I've got. So now we've celebrated the successes, commiserated the disasters, let's move on to designing and creating a beautiful oasis on this top level. And the first thing I'm going to do is lift and remove the whole centre section of stone slabs, all the way till the end. The other 2 rows that are left, level them up and get them laid back how they should be. And then at the end I'm going to then lift the 3 along the edge up, and this is where Miss Japonica will be planted. So she will screen this part of the garden. Then we come to the centre line. If you can remember way back when we made the sapilli bench for the old courtyard, well, this is going to be repurposed for this area. It will need a little sanding and a re-oiling, but we'll get Gypsy Boy to do that. It should look quite beautiful, and this will run down the centre line, alongside planting under the bench and either side of the bench. And as this top section of the front garden is mostly shaded, I'm thinking a selection of hellebores, maybe some hostas, and a wide selection of ferns. I think it would look quite beautiful. So that's the planting scheme, and I think it will look quite wonderful. The bench along that centre line, full of ferns and hostas and hellebores. Right, now on to the back wall, and here I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to plant 6 of the same shrub. I'm going to let them grow as high as the window ledge, and then I'll square it off when I prune, creating a long square hedgerow. This will also insulate the property, which is a bonus. It won't clutter the vision from the bottom of the garden. So now it's just a case of which shrub to choose. So me and Gypsy Boy went to visit Vertigrow in York. Had a good look round and there was many options. But in the end we decided this could be the one. Red Robin. I think it would look quite spectacular at the back wall there, trimmed into a hedge. I think the box balls will stand out well against this as the backdrop. So I think this is the chosen one. And now that decision has been made, that's the end of the update. So I hope you've enjoyed, folks. I'm going to carry on with Gypsy Boy, having a little nose around the garden centre, seeing what bargains I can pick up. And I still need to look for a new replacement for Japonica down in the bottom section of the garden. So let's see what I can find. So I'm going to leave it there with you, and I will see you very soon. Hope you enjoyed. Have a great week, and bye for now.